Okay, so for today, I'm going to explain about file operation. Okay, chapter 9 is file operation. File operation is basically very simple, just straight to the point. Something that you print. Before this, you use function print, and you will print it in the display, right? When you run your coding here in the shell, it will display your output here. Okay. However, for file operation, basically, we will print this output into a file. Okay, so we will store this output into a file. Okay, so this is a basic idea of file operation. Okay, so at the end of this chapter, you will understand file input and output operations. You will be able to use the file operation technique in writing and extracting input and output data. Okay. These are the tutorial that you can refer. There are many more, but I just put 3. You can search by your own in Google. There are many more tutorials. Okay. Okay. So as an introduction, saya buka kamera lah. Tak seronok rasa gelap macam tu. Okay. So as an introduction, file is file is a medium to store information permanently. Means that you're going to write that information or that data or that input into a file. Okay. For example, we have this one. Okay. This is the coding that you have done many times before. Here. Okay. When you ask user to enter input, you do like this. Matrix ID. This is the variable in array. And then you use the input function. So this is the normal input that you implemented. Okay, that you have implemented. So normally, let's say user said number of student is 2, metric for the first metric and the second metric. Okay, and then this one, this input being stored in your memory. Okay, so now instead of just display in this display and also stored in memory, we want to store or we want to save this information into a file. Okay. Okay, so how to do it? Very simple. There are many steps. Okay, there are actually three steps to use file operation techniques. Okay. First is you must open the file. How to open the file? You must create variable for file processing. For example, FP. So FP here is variable name. Variable name for file processing. So you can have any name that you want. For example, you put here file open, file processing. Okay, as long as it is variable name. Okay, so here for example, I put here FP. So FP here is variable name for file processing. Okay, second step in the first major step is create the file name. Okay, so how to create the file name? The syntax is like this. You use open function and you type here the name of your file. For example, studentmark.txt and comma followed by file modes. Okay. Okay, so here in this example, the file name is studentmark. The type of this file is txt. Txt means text. And the file mode is W. Okay, W means to write data into that file. Means that you're going to write the data or the input into this file, into studentmark file. Okay. Okay, second step, this one. You must close file. Okay, to close the open file at the end of the program, you must close the file that you have opened at the end of program. How to close that file? Like this. Variable name for file processing dot followed by function close. Okay, fp dot close. Okay, and then the last one, the last step is you write the file statement. Okay, So how to write the file statement? If you want to write the data into file, you use this one. This is the syntax. File processing variable dot followed by function write. Okay. If before this, without file processing, you use input. Okay, you use input. But here you use write. Okay, write. Okay. So this is the example. You have FP. FP is your file processing variable equal to, and create the name, open file name studentmark.txt, comma, followed by file mode, which is W. So means that this file will receive the input. Okay. So you will write the input into this file. Okay. And then here you have fp.close. Okay. fp.close, you close the file. Okay. And here is your writing statement lah. Okay. So in this case, here you ask user to input the information, to input the data, to input the matric ID. Okay, this one is the same thing as before, except that we add another statement here. This statement is to write the input to the file. So here you have fp.write bracket. Inside this one, you're going to write the input that have been input here. Okay, that have been entered here. So you write the matric ID into the file. Okay. Plus with \n. Plus means that follow. Followed by \n means that you're going to enter. Okay. Followed by enter. Followed by next line. Followed by next line. Okay. Okay. So this is example. When we have this statement, based on this information, you will write that matric ID into the file. KA19099, enter AA20765. So instead of we just write into our memory, now we can store that information in the studentmark.txt or .text. Okay? Understand so far, class? Class?
Yes, Tata.
Yeah. Okay, next. This is another example. We have FP equal to open. Okay, again, this one just a variable name. So you can name any name that you want. Okay. So here I put FP equal to open studentmark.txt and followed by the file mode is W. Means that I'm going to write the input or the data into studentmark.txt. Okay. And then I close here fp.close. Okay, this one is the same thing. Okay, now you can see here, I write the matric ID into the file. Okay. Also here, I'm going to write my assessment or the assessment mark that have been entered by user. I will write it into the file. So I put here fp.write and followed by comma here because I want to do like this. KA19088, 45, 55. Okay. So here comma followed by the assessment mark. Okay, followed by assessment mark. Okay. And then here I have another one, fp.write for the next row. Okay. This one is for the next column. This one is for the next row. Next column I represent as comma. For next row, which is here, or AA, this one, okay, I put fp.write \n. Okay. So, for example here, when user enter number of student is 2, number of assessment is 2, matric ID, KA, the mark 45 and 55, matric ID, second matric ID, AA, mark 55 and 56. So, when user enter this one, when it goes to here and here, it will write this information into our file here. So the information will be written like this. KA19099, 45, 55. And for the next line, AA20 or the next row, okay. For the next line or the next row, we have AA20987, 55, 56. Okay. So means that now you can have that input or you can store this input into a file permanently. Okay. Okay. So normally this type of data we can have it in format CSV. Format CSV means that in Excel. Okay. Okay. Normally our data is in Excel. We have a lot of data in Excel. So now I'm going to show to you how to manipulate or how to write, how to read the data from Excel file or .csv. Okay. The same thing, you must have student mark, the name of that file. However, the difference is this one, .csv. Before this, you have .txt. But for CSV or Excel, you have .csv. Okay. Now, in this example, I'm going to write into the file and read from the file. Means that I'm not just write, I'm going to read as well the data from that file. So, how to do it? We must use the file mode W+. Okay? We have W+. Okay? So, if you use W only, you will write only. There are many more file modes. You can refer to tutorial. Okay, if you want to write and after write you want to read back. Okay, you want to read back the data in that file. So you must use W+. Okay, W+ means that write and read. Okay, write and read. Okay, there are many more. There are read. Reads means that we're going to read only. Okay. We're going to read only. R plus means that we going to read and write. Okay. Okay. So here in this example, I'm going to write and I'm going to read. Okay. For example, we have this one, number of student, number of assessment. And we have matric ID in 1D. We have assessment in 2D. Okay, and then here, we will ask user to enter matric ID. And then after that, we're going to write that matric ID into our file. Okay, and here, we're going to ask user to enter assessment mark. We will write the assessment mark into the file. And this one we will write enter to the next data, okay, in the file. Okay, now this part is to write. Okay, now we're going to do to read. Okay, based on data that we have write into the file. So now we're going to read that data. So how to do it? First, you must use this one, fp.seek 0. Okay, seek is a function in the file. So this one, what is the meaning by seek? Seek is we reset the head to the first line in the file, because in our file, example, you imagine this is our file. Okay, when you do the write, let's say here, for the first one, for the first row number 0, we put here KA, okay, KA, and then we put here for the first student, the assessment, for the first assessment, let's say we say 5, second 2, okay, okay, and then after that, when we do this part, the head, okay, the head will go here, okay, the head will go here, and then when we write A, and then the mark is 3, 7. Okay. And then after that, we do this part, right? So the head will be here. Okay. So in this case, the final head, when you do the right side statement, it will stop here. Okay, it will stop here. And then when you want to read back your data, you must reset the head to go to the first line. Okay, so that's why you put here 0. If you didn't do this one, your head will be here, then you will read nothing here because there is no data here. Okay, so that's why you need to reset the head to be at the beginning or at the 0 again. Okay, understand class? That's why we use this one, fp.seek. Understand? Class?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So, when we do this one, we can proceed with reading. Okay. How to read from file? Just simple. This is the syntax. How to read from file. We must use the looping because we know that our data is in array. Okay. So, we do like this. For from file, we create one variable for that file. Okay. For from file in file processing. Okay. So, that's why we put here in FP because our file processing is FP. So, for from file in FP followed by semicolon. Okay, inside this for, we have create another variable to store this variable to refer to this data in our file. Okay, so student info, I create my one variable named student info equal to from file dot split comma. Okay, means that here my student info will read the information here and separated by comma. Okay, so means that when it read the first column here, you know that this is the information. When it's found the comma, so means that there is another data here. When it found the comma, so there is another data here. Okay, so that's why we put here student info equal to from file, this one, this variable, dot split by comma. Okay, and then here I create another variable to store this value, this value, this value, this value. Okay, so for KA, I name it as ID. Okay, ID equal to, we refer to student info column 0 because this one is column 0. This one is column 1. This one is column 2. So that's why I have here ID equal to student info 0. Quiz equal to student info 1. Test 1 equal to student info 2. Okay. So let's say you have many more data here. So you can have many more index here. Okay. Okay. And then after that, I just print this one. I just print to display in our shell. Okay. And then don't forget this is our close. File close. fp.close. Okay. Okay. Let me show to you this example. So basically, you're going to have this one. You're going to have KA. When you ask user to enter, KA and the quiz is 8, 23, 24, assignment 23, 37, etc. Okay? Okay. Let me show to you this example. Apa ni ya? Student mark. Sekejap mana ni? Example, read right. This one read. Oh ni. Okay. okay, before that, before I go to this part, let me show to you the simple example first. Let's say we have this information. Okay. Okay. Bear in mind when you use file operation, make sure the file is in the same folder with this coding. Okay. For example, I have here chapter 9 intro write course info. So in this folder also I have course info.txt. Okay. Okay. Now I will delete this information. Okay. So now our file is empty. Okay. Our file is empty. When I do this statement, we have fp equal to open course info.txt and I'm going to write only. I have the information computer programming in course name, BAA in course ID, and then I have here full name equal to course ID plus with course name. So I'm going to have actually BAA 2012 plus with computer programming, and then I have instructor ID. Okay, and then this one is just simple. So now here I will write this information in the file, in this file. Okay, so when I run this one, okay, finish saving the file, we go back to the file. Here, before this it is empty, so now there is information here. Okay, because we already write into this file. Okay, okay, next I'm going to show to you this example. Studentmark.csv. Okay, so I put it here. Okay, studentmark.csv in Excel. Okay, now I'm going to empty this one. I'm going to delete. So our file now is empty. Okay. Okay. We're going to do this information, this coding. Okay. When I run, okay, how many number of students? Let's say I say 3 number of students. Number of assessment. In this coding, we have how many numbers? 5. Okay. So I'm going to put 5. 5 assessment. Okay. So matric ID KA19088. Mark, let's say I put 7, 8, test 23, 24, 30. Okay. Okay. And then the next matric ID, let's say I put MH 19001. The value. Okay. Okay. Next matric ID, let's say I put AA 19566. The mark is 7, 33, 32, 31, 22. Okay. So now, when okay, here you go back to this file. Okay, so you can see that this is the data that I've entered and I save it into this file. And then after that, I read it again from here. So that's why I print it. So that's why we have this output here. Okay. If we debug, okay, wait, I need to delete this one first. Okay. Okay, now if we debug, so we already have the student mark.csv, number of student 2, number of assessment, let's say 5. Okay, the same thing as previous example. Okay, now I have KA17. Okay, matric 2. Okay. Okay, now dia kita tak nampak lah. In debug we cannot see what will happen in the file. Okay. So for this part, we going to print. Okay, we print this one, and then it will get the information from the file here. Okay. Okay, class. Okay. So I want you to recode this coding. Okay, recode this coding and try to see what happened. Try to debug one by one. Okay. Yang saya buat ni saya tersilap debug laju. Okay, we can try again. Saya nak tunjuk yang part dia read tu. Try saya try sekejap sebab saya tak pernah try. Kalau dalam Python boleh tak kalau kita delete terus? If we delete, there is no file here. Kalau dalam C boleh, saya nak try sekejap. Number of student. Okay. Nampak tak? Did you notice guys? Sebelum ni I delete this one. Okay. I delete this file. When I run this one, it automatically create the file here. It will open the file here. Okay. There is file. Supposedly, before this, I delete that file. Okay. When I run this coding, okay, you can see here, it automatically create and open the file. Okay, okay class, it will automatically open the file for you. Okay, okay class, faham tak? Okay, let's debug again. Student 2, number of assessment is 5. Okay, so now we're going to seek it into the first line or 0. We print this one, print. Okay, okay. So here from file in FP, it will refer to that file, refer to the studentmark.csv. Okay, so now we can have mana? Student info equal to from file split by comma. So we get the student info like this. Okay, you can see here, this is our student info. We have in a list KA 12, 12, 12, 12. Okay, now when we do ID equal to student info 0, it will refer to KA. Okay, quiz student info 1, it will refer to 12. Test 1, student info 2, it will refer to row number 3, which is 2. Okay. Row 3, which is 12 as well. Assignment 4, 12. Project student info 5, which is 12. Okay. And then this one, we just calculate the total mark. We just add all the data there. Okay. So we get the total mark is 24. And then here we just print out the information. Okay. Contohlah. For the next line, if we go to the next line, which is from file, it will refer to another information there for matric ID AA, and then it will do the same thing here. Okay. Macam tu. Okay, understand class? And then we close the file. Okay, understand class? This is how file operation. Boleh class? Yeah. Okay. Next, that one is write and read. So now I'm going to show to you how to read from file CSV. So normally you will receive the file that contain data. So now you want to read that data. So how to read it? We use R. Okay. For example here, I have this sales information, sales data in my file, in the file. The file name is sales.csv. So now I'm going to read the data. Okay. So how to do it? The same thing as we do previously to read. For info is my variable name for that file. In file open is the variable name for file processing. Okay, followed by semicolon. And then here I have sales equal to info.split by comma. And then I have another variable, item refer to sales row 0. Quantity refer to sales row 1. Unit price refer to, is not a row, column. Sales column 0. Or basically, when we do in file, it will be row. However, when we refer to this one, this column A will refer to item. This column B will refer to quantity. This column C will refer to unit price. Okay. And then here we're going to calculate the price. Price equal to quantity times unit price. And we will print all the information here. Item, quantity, unit price, and also price. And don't forget to close your file. File open dot close. Okay. Let's debug. Sales. Okay, so this is sales. Okay, now imagine that this sales, in this data you already have this, in this file you already have the data. So now you're going to read this data. You don't want to write, you just want to read. Okay. Okay, so this is the coding, the same coding as in the note. Okay. So let's debug. Okay, for info in file open, which is refer to the file, to this file. For the first row, it will refer to this one. Okay, for the first row, it will refer to pen 180 and 9. So that's why here in your coding, they have pen 180 and 9. Okay. Now, sales equal to info dot split by comma. Okay. In CSV, it automatically know that the file contain comma. Okay, so that's why we put split by comma. Okay, so sales will have this list: pen, comma 180, comma 9. Okay. Now item refer to sales 0. Sales 0 is pen. Okay. Quantity refer to sales 1. Sales 1 is 180. Unit price refer to sales 2. Sales 2 is 9. Okay. Okay. So now we already have all the information. So we will calculate price equal to quantity, which is 180, times with unit price, which is 9. So we have the price. Okay. And then we print that one. Okay. So we print item, quantity, unit price, and price. Okay, so we display this output here. Okay, now we didn't finish yet the looping for that file. So we move to the next row. The next row in our file is this one, marker. Okay, marker 180 and 8. Okay, so now we have info in that file processing, which is marker 180 and 8. We do the same thing. Split by comma. So our sales now have marker 180 and 8. Okay. Sales 0 refer to marker for item. Quantity refer to sales 1, which is 180. Unit price refer to sales 2, which is 8. Okay. Do the same thing. We calculate and we print it. Okay. We print it here. And still remember in the looping, for looping, as long it will still continue as long as there is there is row or there is column. So now we move to the next row, which is for this one, paper 170 and 9, this one. Okay, we do the same thing. Sales we split by comma, so that's why here we have paper 179. Okay, sales we refer to sales, item refer to sales 0, quantity refer to sales 1, unit price refer to sales 2. We calculate the price, we print out. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, we have this output. Okay, next, because we still have the row, so we move to the next row. So you have info, and then you split the sales by comma. So sales have notebook 260 and 5, item, quantity, unit price, calculate the price, print out the output. Okay, and done. Okay, class, understand? This is how to read from file. Read only. Okay, not write and read, but read only. Okay, understand, class?
Understand, madam.
Okay. Okay, so don't forget to do the to code back to code again. You need to code this example. Okay. Okay, now we have another one. The same thing. We're going to write. To read as well. Okay, we're going to read the occupation here, the occupation name and the number of positions for that occupation. And then we're going to calculate the total position here. Okay. So let me show to you this one. This one also we're going to read it. Okay. The same thing as previous example for sales. So I have here occupation. Okay. So you can see here, this is my data in my occupation.csv. Okay. So now I'm going to write. I'm going to read line by line. Read this one. Read this one. Read until here, and then we're going to sum up this one. Okay, we're going to sum up or get the total of these positions. Okay. The same thing. Let me debug. We will read from the occupation. Why I put total employed equal to 0? Because this is just initialized value, because we're going to do addition here. So for from file in FP, in file processing, we refer to the first row, which is this one, Chief Executive Managing Director. Okay. Okay. And then info will split by comma. So we have here info Chief Executive Managing Director, comma 54,480. Okay. Occupation we refer to info 0, row 0 or column 0, which is Chief Executive Managing Director. Num employed we refer to info 1, which is 54,480. And then we will print this information. So you can see here, we print it in our shell. And we calculate the total employed equal to total, current total is 0. Plus with num employed, our current num employed is here, which is 54,480. So we get now the total employed is 54,480. Now we move to the next row in our file, which is this one, corporate GM and this value. Okay. Okay. Again, we do the same thing. So now our info, we have corporate GM, comma 34,365. Okay, the same thing we will do. Occupation refer to info 0, which is corporate GM. Non-employed refer to info 1, which is 34,365. And we'll print that information into our shell. So we have this one, this output. And then we will calculate the total. Total equal to current total is 54,000. Plus with current non-employed here, which is this one, this value 34,000. So we will get the total employed is 88,000. Okay. Okay. Move to the next row, which is this one. Okay. We do the same thing. Okay. We calculate the total employed. We move to the next row. We do the same thing. Calculate the total employed. Until we finish all the row in our file. Okay. All the row in our file. Okay. What is the last row? The last row is ICT Project Manager. ICT Project Manager. Okay. Again, looping. Okay, now ICT Project Manager. Okay. So, we calculate the last total. Current total employed plus with current non-employed. Non-employed for ICT Project Manager, which is 9,000. Okay. So, we get the total employed. Okay. And then we print the total employed. Okay, class? Understand? Very simple. Okay. Okay?
So, Dr.
Yeah?
So masukkan value dalam Excel tu bila maksudnya?
Sorry Rashidan, dia tak jelas ah.
Saya nak tanya kalau macam ni maksudnya masukkan value dalam Excel and then kita edit dalam Python macam tu.
Ya, ini macam ni lah. Kita bayangkan macam ni. Awak bahagian dalam satu company tu, awak ni bahagian penganalisa. Okay. Dia ada satu lagi bahagian dalam company tu yang buat sales ataupun yang buat data collection. Okay. So, yang bahagian buat data collection tu, dia dah collect semua data, dia dah masukkan dalam Excel, dia pun bagi kat awak. Awak yang kena buat analisa. So, what you have to do adalah you just read the data in that file. Awak tak perlu write dah. Okay. Contohnya macam tu lah. Okay. Faham, Rashdan? Ini kalau data dah ada lah. Okay. Okay. Kalau data tu tak ada, then you have to write. So, awak kena guna W+. Write and read. Okay. Okay. So, let's move to the next example. Okay. Yang ni, for example, this one is calculate total value. The example that we have done before. Calculate. Okay, class. This one. If you still remember the exercise that you developed in function, tak silap saya. Yeah, function. So, now you have this part for calculate total value. Okay, but you have this part for the file. Okay. So, you have a file open here. Open grade.csv and you're going to write. Okay, maksudnya awak nak tulis. You're going to write, not read. You're going to write the value here. Okay, so here, instead of just input, okay, instead of you just ask user to input the data here from here, you input into the variable value. Now here you will write this value into the file. So that's why you have here. For column, write into the file. Okay. And then you have here comma because you want to separate the data based on comma. Okay. Okay, so here you want to write number, this one, number 1, number 2. For number 1, you have value 2, 23, 21, 49, 46. For number 2, you have value 12, 22, 21, and 55. Okay. And then this one is because we want to enter it. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to write this one. Okay. We're going to write, tulis. Write into grade.csv. Okay. And then here in our another one, the same thing as previous example, we have grade and calculate. Okay. Grade, calculate, and grade. Okay. Now we have grade.csv here. Okay. Let's say I delete this one. I delete grade.csv. Okay. This one, assume there is no txt here. Okay. There is no txt here. Okay, let's debug. This one is function. We open the file, fp equal to open grade.csv. The mode is W, which is write, to write. Okay, how many number of total value to be calculated? Let's say I said 2. Okay, and then how many number of total value? Let's say I said 3. Okay. Okay, now this is the same thing that we have done before. Enter value 1, 23, value 2, 34, value 3, 31. For the second number, value 1, 27, value 2, 36, value 5, 35. Value 3, 35. Okay. Okay, now we call this function. Okay, the same thing, we call this function. No need to, I don't have to show again. And this one to determine the grade. Okay, now we want to write the information that have been entered here and here into our file. Okay, so we're going to write this information. Okay, and also this information. Okay. Okay, so for row in range num total, we still use the same nested loop. Okay, we're going to write fp.write number, which number, row number 1, number 2, etc. Okay, so we're going to write number plus row. Current row is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So we're going to write number 1. Why I put string here? Because I want to make sure the number here will be string, similar to number here, number. Because number here is string, so that's why I plus with another string. Okay. Okay. Now range 3, 0 until 3, because we have 3 values here. 23, 34, 31. So I'm going to write one by one. I'm going to write row 0, column 1, which is 23. Okay. Again, why string? Because when you write into the file, it will be in string. So that's why we put string here. Okay. 23. For the next column, followed by comma, followed by the value, row 0, column 1, which is 34. For column, the last column, comma, plus with row 0, column 2, which is 31. Okay. Okay. Now, we will write this value. Okay. fp.write, comma, followed by the value of total total row 0, which is 88. So we write into the file. Okay, and then we write enter. So it means that go to the next line in the file or go to the next row in the file. Okay, so we do the same thing. Okay, we write and then done here. Okay, so now go to the file. Okay, before this, I delete that file, right? So now when we debug, it will automatically create and open this file. Okay. Okay, so you can see here, we have the value. We have this value. We already write the value that we have here. Okay. Number 1, 23, 34, 31. The total is 88. Number 2, value is 27, 36, 35, and the total is 98. Okay. Okay, class? Understand? This is how we write into the file. Understand, class? You have to...
Understand, madam.
Okay, you have to try yourself so you can see how it works. Okay? Okay, done. Itu je. That's all for file. Okay, class. I already upload the file for sales, the data for sales.csv and the data for occupation.csv. So I want you to redo all the example here, coding example in these notes, and see it by yourself, how it works. Okay? Boleh, class?
Boleh, madam.
Okay. After you do the examples, I want you to do this exercise. First, for robot arm. Okay? I want you to use file operation. I want you to save the robot coordinate and coordinate location in a file. Okay? Because before this, you just display in the shell. Now, I want you to save the robot coordinate and coordinate location in a file. Okay. So, what is the file mode that we need to use? Is it W? Is it W plus? Is it R or R plus? Which one for this exercise? Which one, class? We want to save or we want to write the robot coordinate and coordinate location in a file. So, which one? Which file mode that you must use? Cepat, class! Cepatlah. You want to save or you want to write the robot
Save.
coordinate? Which one?
Save.
Yes. Save.
W.
Which one? Which one? W plus, R plus?
W plus maybe.
No, W only. But Ruwen, in case you want to read again, okay, in case you want to read again the robot coordinate and robot location, you can use W plus. Okay?
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The next exercise is text system. I want you to implement file operation in that text system. By saving the employees info, you must save the employees info and the calculated text in a file. So which one that you must use? W, W plus, R or R plus? Which one? Class, which one?
W plus, madam.
W. Okay. If you want to save only, okay, means that you want to write only, you use W. But in case you want to read back and you want to display into the shell, you must use W plus. Okay? Okay, class?
Okay, madam.
Okay. Next exercise is for the calculate.
Madam.
Yeah?
Madam, sorry, for just now, we have to use W and also W plus or...
Okay, like this, Ruben. If you want to save only or write only, you use W. But if you think, oh, after I write, I want to read back and I want to display it in the shell. So you use W plus. Okay? It
Okay.
depends on how you going to do your file operation. Okay?
Alright. Okay.
Okay. For intermediate level, calculate purchase discount yang kita dah buat sebelum ni. Again, I want you to implement the file operation. I want you to save or write the purchase amount and the discount in a file. So again, the same thing. If you just want to save or write only, you use write, W. But let's say you want to read back what you have write or what you have written in your file, so you use W plus. Okay? Dua-dua ni betul. Okay? Cuma if you want to read back, you must use W plus. If you just want to write without read, so you use W. Okay, class? Okay, class?
Okay,
Itu je.
madam.
Okay, itu je yang kerja saya bagi untuk minggu ni. That's all. First, you need to do, what is the first task that you must do, class?
Do all the example.
Yes, recode all the example. Okay, the second one, all the 3 exercise. Okay, exercise. Excel je lah. Okay, boleh kelas?
Boleh, madam.
Okay, now you still have 1 hour left. So I want you to do the example first. Okay, download the file here from Padlet, and then after that, after you done all the example, I want you to proceed with the exercise and upload it in the Padlet. So we will discuss it this Thursday. Okay, class?
Okay, madam.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to remind you about your project. Please make sure you already start your project. Your project is a continuity from your assignment, but you have to enhance your project by having function, array, file operation, and the last one is data visualization. Okay, class? So make sure you have started your project. Okay, jangan tunggu next week baru nak buat. Okay, just to remind you that part. Okay, is there any question?
For the test, madam.
Test, our test is